Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today we have a really wild collection of stories, and you're not going to believe this, but they're all from the same source.
It is a bit all over the place, but when you see these stories together like this,
Yeah.
it really paints an interesting picture.
It does, and it really kind of gives us a nice little snapshot into, I guess, the current landscape of,
Yeah.
celebrity
Totally.
branding, tips,
All that
fun stuff. So we have everything from a new celebrity lifestyle brand that just launched to some royal charity drama, a musician kind of having a funny reaction to a situation, and then even former presidential finances. So buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride.
It's going to be good. Let's dive in.
All right, so let's kick things off with Meghan Markle
Okay.
and her new brand. It's called As Ever.
As ever. Okay.
And you might remember there was a lot of buzz when it was originally called American Riviera Orchard,
Right.
but it seems like they changed it up. And one insider speaking to the Daily Mail described this whole launch as a logistical nightmare.
Oh, wow.
And apparently, folks who were working on the retail side of things were feeling the strain, especially with all the headlines surrounding the Sussexes recently. So it gets really interesting here. These workers reportedly had to sign NDAs about where products like her fruit spread were actually being made.
Wait, NDAs for jam.
Yeah, for jam.
That's so interesting, though. I mean, it really makes you think,
Hmm.
why so secretive?
Hmm.
Like, what are they trying to hide? What's the big deal about, some fruit spread? Makes you wonder.
It really does, and it kind of plays into that whole, you know, carefully constructed world of celebrity branding.
No, absolutely.
But then you have the real world logistics of like, okay, well, how do we actually make this happen? And then how much do we actually have to reveal
Transparency.
about the process?
Yeah.
And speaking of the fruit spread, has anybody actually seen it? Like, I've heard all about it, these artisanal jams and other goodies, but it seems like the only people who have actually gotten their hands on them are her celebrity friends.
That is so interesting.
It's making me wonder about, the actual scale of this
Yeah.
whole launch. Like, is it really intended for, like, mass consumption or what's going on?
Well, and that leads to something that marketers call artificial scarcity. So it's basically where the supply of a product is purposely limited to make it seem like it's super high demand.
Oh.
And everyone wants it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like playing with people's psychology to make them want it even more
Oh, I see.
because they think, oh, it's hard to get.
Makes sense.
It must be good.
Yeah, I gotta have it.
Exactly. And this actually connects with something that the commentator mentioned in our source. They were talking about a Netflix article that expressed some concern about the potential sales figures
Oh, interesting.
for the brand. And, I mean, if Netflix is worried about sales figures,
Yeah.
that's saying something because they have a pretty big stake in the game, right?
Absolutely.
And they're partners
Yeah.
with the Sussexes. So it makes you wonder, is the public's interest actually as big as we think?
Yeah, I think so too.
And the lack of any actual concrete numbers on those sales
Yeah.
is also really telling.
It is.
Because if they had a huge launch,
they'd be shouting it from the rooftops.
exactly, they'd be bragging.
Yeah.
So it really kind of goes back to that idea of artificial scarcity. Maybe they're playing the long game here, building up the brand slowly.
Yeah, it's very strategic, it seems.
Very strategic, very calculated.
It is. Okay, so let's shift gears now and
So-
talk about the situation with Prince Harry and Centerville.
Okay.
So this is a charity that he was really involved with for a long time, and Sophie Chandauka, she took over his chair in 2023,
Okay.
and our source indicates that she has actually made some damaging allegations against the Sussexes.
Oh, wow.
So things have taken a bit of a sour turn
Ah.
with accusations flying that Chandauka is playing the race card.
It's tricky
It is tricky.
to talk about these things.
It is.
But the thing that the commentator brought up, though, is like the Sussexes themselves have faced so much scrutiny over race.
Exactly, which is why I thought it was so ironic,
Totally.
because it's like, hold on a second, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They've been under the microscope for so long about this issue,
Exactly.
and now all of a sudden the tables have turned.
And it makes you wonder, like, who's really playing what card here?
It really does.
It's complicated, but we do have to be really careful when we talk about these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Because these are very sensitive issues.
They are.
And it's not about taking sides.
Yep.
It's just about trying to understand
Yeah.
what's really going on
Yeah.
and how these things get talked about in the media.
Yeah. So this is where it gets even more interesting. So Prince Harry and Meghan's team reportedly briefed The Telegraph that Chandauka's doctorate is honorary, implying that she shouldn't be using the title because she didn't earn it.
Okay.
And the commentator rightfully pointed out that this is pretty hypocritical,
Yeah.
given that Meghan uses the title Duchess of Sussex.
Right, which she also acquired through marriage.
Exactly.
So it's not like she went to school to be a duchess.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the whole title thing with the royal family is just fascinating to me. Like,
oh, it's such a minefield.
who gets to use what and when and why?
And what it means to people.
Yes.
You know, like, does it really matter?
But I think that's the point that the commentator was trying to make is like,
yeah.
Okay, if it's such a big deal that, her doctorate is honorary.
Yeah.
And she shouldn't be using the title doctor.
Yeah.
But then Meghan gets to use the Duchess title. Even though she, acquired that through marriage. Then, like, what's the point of any of it?
What are we even talking about here?
Exactly, yeah. And to add fuel to the fire,
okay.
A friend of Prince Harry from Eton reportedly told the Daily Mail that, quote, Dr. Sophie is simply just jealous of Meghan Markle because she wasn't the most important woman of color on the stage, end quote.
Oh, my goodness. I can't even, what?
Yeah.
That's just, wow.
I know. It's wild, right?
That's wild.
And the commentator's reaction was pretty much my reaction. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're resorting to.
It's so reductive.
It is.
To just say that somebody is disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
Because they're jealous.
Yes.
Especially when it's like, wrapped up in these issues of race.
Yeah.
And who's the most important.
Yeah, and it reminded me of...
It's a mess.
The tactics.
Yeah.
It's a mess that the royal family has been accused of using in the past, which the commentator also pointed out.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to something a little bit more lighthearted.
Okay, good, because I need a break from all this drama.
Yeah, me too. So this involves Morgan Wallen and Saturday Night Live. You might remember he was abruptly removed from the show.
Oh, yeah.
A while back.
Uh-huh.
And, well... he's now found a pretty clever way to capitalize on that whole controversy.
I'm intrigued.
So he posted something on Instagram shortly after, and that caption has now become the basis for new merch.
I love that.
I kind of love it, too.
Like, if you're going to get kicked off SNL, you might as well make some money off of it, right?
Exactly. Lemonade out of lemons.
Exactly.
But not everyone was amused.
Okay.
So our source mentions reports of some of the SNL cast members calling Wallen a diva behind the scenes, and that he probably won't be invited back.
I see. So there's still some bad blood there.
It sounds like it. Yeah. But our commentators seem to really appreciate Wallen kind of making a joke out of it.
Yeah.
And actually expressed hope that the merch sells really well.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's really interesting how differently,
Totally.
Celebrities handle these kinds of public missteps.
Yeah. Some people go the apology route,
Yeah, the very carefully crafted PR statement.
Exactly. Full damage control.
Damage control.
Yeah.
But then others, they kind of just embrace the chaos.
They roll with it.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes that works better.
I think so. Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least.
Okay, hit me.
Michelle Obama made some pretty interesting comments on her new podcast with her brother.
Oh, this is the one I've been waiting for.
I know, right? This one is juicy. So she was talking about Barack's apparent lack of financial responsibility before they got married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Duh.
And she even asked, would you be attracted to a guy who's not financially sound when you meet him? And then she said, I'm married one. Don't you like that, Allie?
Wow. Okay. That's a bold statement.
It is.
Especially considering who she's talking about, Like,
now a former president?
It's not just any guy.
Right.
It's Barack Obama.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
It is. And our commentator had a pretty strong reaction to this, saying that Michelle Obama has little to no respect for her husband.
Okay, I can see how someone might get that impression.
I can too. And they also suggested that maybe she's trying to brand herself away from former President Obama.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle.
It is, right? Like, why would she do that?
Well, public figures, their image is everything, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she's trying to, I don't know, appeal to a different audience. Maybe she's got some new projects in the works.
That's true.
That don't really align with his brand.
Yeah, or maybe...
And this is where we get into the realm of pure speculation.
Here we go.
Maybe there's something going on with their marriage.
Ah, the rumors.
I mean, there have been rumors floating around for the past few months
Yeah.
about them, And apparently, Barack has been showing up solo to a lot of events.
Yeah, including President Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Right, where you'd normally expect them to be together.
Yeah. So the commentator's conclusion is that there's definitely a little bit of scuttlebutt.
I like that word scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt, yeah.
It's a good one.
It is a good word.
It perfectly captures the situation.
It does. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on behind the scenes that we might not be privy to.
I think so.
And we may never know the full truth.
Probably not, but that's part of what makes it so fascinating, right?
It is. It is.
We're all just trying to piece together the puzzle
Exactly.
with the little bits of information we get.
Yeah.
And sometimes those little bits can be really revealing.
They can. They can.
About how these people operate and how the world really works.
Absolutely.
Behind the scenes.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. From jam to jealousy.
From jam to jealousy to presidential finances.
And everything in between.
And everything in between. It's been quite a journey.
It has.
So as you've been listening to this, what are your thoughts? What does all of this tell you about how public figures manage their image?
And their personal lives?
Yes, and their relationships.
In this day and age.
In the age of social media with everyone watching.
Yeah, everyone's a critic.
Yeah, and everyone has an opinion.
And everyone's got a platform.
They do.
To share that opinion.
They do.
It's a whole different ball game now.
It is. It's a different world.
A whole new world.
So are these just isolated incidents? Or are we seeing a bigger shift in how we view fame, influence, and even authenticity?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's an easy answer.
No, I don't think so either.
But it's definitely something worth thinking about.
Yeah.
As we continue to navigate this ever-evolving landscape.
The ever-evolving landscape of public perception.
Exactly.
And celebrity.
It's a wild world out there.
It is a wild world.
So buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up, everybody. All right, that's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
See you.